Hi and welcome to the video. I'm Dame and this is Dame Over, and today is the final installment of the Skill Cannon series, and finally we are looking at the Scout class. There are 4 other videos in this series which, if you'd like to see them, are linked in the description. I've got ones for SMGs, shotguns, medic rifles and the support class, so make sure you go check those out if you've not already seen them. But today's video, as you'll see very shortly, is a little bit different from those videos. So if you find this video useful or entertaining, make sure you hit that like button before you go, and if you're new around here and want to keep up to date with the rest of my content, then make sure you hit the subscribe button too. So instead of showcasing just one weapon in this video, it's more of a discussion about what a skill cannon is and how that doesn't really apply to the Scout class, in my experience at least. I'd really like to know your take on it, so make sure you jump into the comment section after the video so you can share your thoughts with me. So the weapons that I chose for the other 4 videos in the series are weapons that require a high level of aiming accuracy and tend to have a lower ammo capacity. They also have a very fast potential time to kill, which quite obviously only works if you can actually hit your shots. I also tried to pick weapons that were versatile as well as very powerful in certain situations. The RSC SMG and the Model 1900 Slug are very good examples of this, as they are incredibly powerful up close, but they still have the ability to do very well at range as well. The choices for the other skill cannons from the Assault, Medic and Support classes relied on me gathering data about time to kill, bullets to kill and the damage model for each weapon, and comparing it to its competitors, and then taking into account the ease of use and how that would affect which players could use them effectively. Now that all seems very obvious to say, but I thought I'd make sure we're coming from the same position here when I say that I don't really think it applies to the Scout class. That isn't to say that there aren't weapons in the Scout class that are harder to use than others, of course there are. That's just the very nature of having different weapons in Battlefield 1 that behave in different ways. But when it comes to sniper rifles, there aren't really particular weapons that benefit from an incredibly high level of skill compared to an incredibly low level of skill. Now, I know that might sound a bit controversial to you guys, but just hang on for 1 second so I can explain myself before you go and hit the dislike button. So to explain this, I've come up with a little bit of an experiment, more of a theory really, and I've used the SMLE as the example Scout rifle. You've got 10 bullets to play with from a full reload, and its one-shot sweet spot is between 40 and 75 meters. Let's say for the experiment's sake that there are 2 players of varying skill levels. One of them is a highly skilled player, and on average they're able to hit 8 out of 10 shots from within the 1 hit kill range. That means they get 8 kills from every 10 from a full reload. But then let's line up a less skilled player, and let's say on average they can only land 2 out of those 10 shots within the 1 hit kill range from a full clip. This is based on using an average figure, so obviously it will change from game to game, situation to situation, and from player to player. If you then consider that aiming with the Scout rifle is purely down to the player themselves rather than the gun assisting them in some way and giving them an advantage over using a particular Scout rifle against another one, then I'm sure you can understand where I'm coming from when I say there isn't really a skill cannon within the Scout class. If those 2 guys, the high and low skill player, were to come up against each other using the exact same weapons from the exact same range, it's pretty clear which one of them is far more likely to win the fight. Now, I've not forgotten about auto-aim and auto-rotation. That's obviously applicable to those people that use console, but for the sake of this argument, let's assume that everybody has the same settings as standard and haven't changed them so that they can give us a level playing field to talk from. Now, quite obviously, there are a lot of variables in this, as lots of different Scout rifles have lots of different effective ranges and different fire rates, etc. But as far as actually picking up the kills and the mechanics of shooting the gun are concerned, that is purely down to player's skill, and not any singular Scout weapon will be able to assist you in lining up the shot and pulling the trigger at the right time. I played around with lots of different Scout rifles to try and find out which one was the skill cannon in the Scout class, and the only way I could find that actually required a high level of skill was by using them outside of their effective range, which is completely counterproductive. Someone that is of a high skill will know the most effective range to play with their weapon, and using it outside of that puts you at an unnecessary disadvantage, unless of course you're forced to. The very nature of sniping in video games, the fact that you have to hit your shots to be effective, means that there isn't really much room for error, which is why it's so impressive when we watch someone that is incredibly good at sniping. We can all appreciate the level of skill it takes to hit your shots consistently. Obviously, there are Scout rifles that will give you some advantages in certain situations. The SMLE, for example, having 10 rounds after a full reload will let you stay in the fight longer. The Martini Henry and the Arasaka having a shorter one-shot sweet spot than some of the other Scout rifles will give you an advantage up close. The Gewehr 98 will allow you to sit a little bit further back, and you can take advantage of the very fast bullet velocity. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of aiming and shooting at the right time, that is completely down to the player and not the weapon. But that's just what I think about skill cannons and the scout class. Do you guys have any ideas what the skill cannon in the scout class could be? Do you think it's possible to have a skill cannon within the scout class? Is it a very different story on PC? Make sure you let me know what you think in the comments below. And a quick thank you to those of you guys that are helping to support the channel through Patreon. It's because of you guys, since my channel was demonetized, hopefully that will get sorted by the end of the month, that I've been able to put out content as often as I can. So thank you. And hopefully in the very near future, with a bit more support, I'll be able to do this full time. And if you want to become a patron yourself, make sure you check out the description. I've also left a link to the Patreon page in the pinned comment, and there's also a handy button on the end screen where if you'd like to, you can help support the channel from as little as $1 a month. So if you had a good time, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button too. Make sure you've hit the bell button so you get notified of any new videos. Feel free to share this with whoever and wherever you like. And until next time, that's Dame over. Peace.